Sustainability in architecture is typically thought of as the energy consumption of a building after it's built. For us, sustainability instead is about the way that you actually build the building. When we first started using the shipping container about 30 years ago, there was a lot of stigma attached to it. And since then, the shipping container and prefabrication have gained much more respect.
We just respond creatively to what humanity pushes aside.
And that's why when we designed this house, we wanted to use 18 shipping containers to push this object to another level.
I always hope that that's the biggest legacy that we can leave. The idea that one can create something very exciting, like this house, out of something very humble, like these 18 old containers that we got out in a yard in New Jersey. It's a way to really understand that our creative potential is giant.
I'm Giuseppe Lignano.
Ada Tolla, we are the founders of Lotec, the architecture studio.
The building looks as if it was emerging from the underground. A quarter of the house is really cantilevering over the slope to the garage and to the main entrance, as you can see. So it creates a very dynamic corner. All the cuts that you see were all done off-site and then transported one container at a time here and assembled within 3 days.
In cutting the stack of containers diagonally, we reused all the pieces that we took out from one side onto the other side to complete the decks. This was a way to create this continuous form and, of course, also a way to use the container as much as possible.
For these facades, this is the side with the doors of the shipping container. So you can see all the features of the bars with the locks, and it's a much more articulated side of the container and creates a very vibrating type of facade. We were very excited and, of course, also nervous about how the assemblage was going to go in this very busy corner, as we can see. So it's really, really fantastic to see how this thing went up literally like a Lego toy in a matter of 3 days. We grew up in the same neighborhood.
Met on the bus in Naples when we were 14 in high school.
We didn't really become very close until the very end of architecture school.
We traveled together for a couple of months, which was kind of like a very immediate cold shower test because we had only seen each other socially and suddenly we were basically living together.
We kind of started noticing all the stuff that we don't want to see, the antenna, the duct, the air conditioning through your window, all things that we pretend they are not there, but they're there very much, and they are an inspiration to us. So we started taking a lot of pictures of these things. We called it the urban scan, and it's still an ongoing thing. It's been 30 plus years that we've been taking pictures of this stuff, and it's really the base of what Lotec is all about.
We're in the main space of the house now, which is one flight up from the entry level. Obviously, shipping containers are not meant to be lived in, so there's a real effort in understanding how to transform them.
This is the cut that we did in these containers to combine them and multiply the space. And this is the remaining part of the corrugated wall of the container, which of course acts as a structure. In the other direction, also the containers are joined wherever you see this, which is a sill that connects the two containers. So this floor is 3 containers wide by 2 containers long. So it's 6 containers, basically. The floors that you see here, these are the original floors of the container. The wood part is a species of hardwood plywood floor called apitong from Indonesia that is used for the production of shipping containers. The metal bits that you see of the floor basically corresponds to the point where a truck would connect. It's basically the hitch.
The outer walls are all insulated. The insulation is contained between the outer corrugation and the inside wall.
You can see actually the section of the wall, right? That whole entire 6-7 inches of thickness there, it's all the insulation that goes on the perimeter walls. The house was originally designed for a family of 4. So about 3 years ago, the house was sold to a new owner, single man, Jonathan, who obviously utilizes the house in a very different way.
When the house was sold, we understood why they were letting it go, but there was something that was slightly sad for us. I have to say that coming back here and seeing how Jonathan is occupying the house is very exciting.
The architecture of the house has not changed at all. A lot of the finishes and colors have changed. The kitchen is completely a stainless steel construction from a company that we've used for 20 years to build all our kitchens. They do kitchens for restaurants. And of course, for this house, it was even more fitting since the owners were restaurateurs themselves.
The idea of this big stainless kitchen made so much sense for us. Like, it's very utilitarian, it's very efficient.
It's also somewhat theatrical, right? Because it's the end of the entire open space of the house. It's really wonderful to see, all the activity back here.
Because of this beautiful wood floor, from the beginning, we thought it would be nice to think about mirroring them and also enclosing the ceiling. The ceiling is also a way to insulate from one level to the next. Above all of this is insulation. And the finished material is luan, which is a fairly simple and basic wood, but a nice counterpart also in terms of color to the apitong on the ground.
The layout of the furniture is still the same. It's just that the furniture itself has changed. We always thought
upgraded.
Exactly. We always thought of a very long table here for big dinner parties and a linear lighting coming from the ceiling. And it's interesting to see how Jonathan has transformed it from a decorative and from a artistic point of view.
This is the living room proper.
The sitting room. Jonathan did an amazing job refurnishing. The fireplace is a very interesting story. Number one, because it's the last wood-burning fireplace to be permitted in New York City. It used to be this color, which is a silver. The other important thing to say about the fireplace that, of course, the owners, not only being restaurateurs, but owning one of the most famous barbecue places in New York, the joke was always that they wanted to be able to cook an entire pig. And that's why this is a very wide fireplace.
It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke. Exactly.
It wasn't a joke, it was actual. The requirement was,
but
I want to be able to put a pig inside the fireplace.
Yes, and there we go.
Hence the size.
The furniture just feels like you want to take a nap right here.
I mean, you want to take a nap here, but it's even better to take it there.
It's better to take a nap over there, exactly.
On the slant.
So this is possibly the most interesting room in the house. Also, the shape of this room comes from having cut the containers on the underside, as we saw on the outside, to go down to the entrance of the house. So immediately when we saw this space in our computers, we said, okay, this is a home theater.
I love these pillows. I want to come here. I want to be invited to watch a movie because they're super comfortable. There are 3 panels that allow you to close the room completely on this side and then darkening shutters on the other side so that this is really working as a home theater.
So here we are in the primary bedroom. There is at the very top floor, so let's say 3.5 floors off the sidewalk. We basically decided to not just have the ceiling in wood, this is still the Luan, but also the entire back wall is also covered with the Luan. And as you can see, the king-size bed is inset into this wall in this niche. Also, the projector with the screen that covers the window at night so that you can watch TV and film.
The shower is very fun and kind of over the top because the idea that one could have this big shower looking out. We are, again, in Brooklyn, but at the same time is incredibly private because it's very much within the inner world of the house. I think that the open shower is very much connected also to this request from the original owner of these two separate bathrooms, right? They really wanted two separate spaces with their own things and their own privacy. So on the big wood wall, there are these doors with the long piano hinge that we love, that bring to the powder room, and then there's a back door that gives access to the walk-in closet at the very end.
And then this is the symmetrical, the second powder room here on the other side with the same layout and the same secret door to the walk-in closet. There is one continuous closet, although this is a section for the one person, and here is the shared part for shoes and everything. And it's interesting to notice that the top windows that we saw from the outside are actually the windows of this long walk-in closet. And we are in the other powder room now, exiting again towards the bedroom. Now we are in the middle floor, so to speak, between the living room floor and the primary bedroom floor. This was meant to be a flexible space for the kids, and now Jonathan is using it mainly as a studio.
And from the studio, you can go this way to the guest room areas, right here. We're still on the second floor. These are the guest rooms. Each one is the width of one container. Originally, these were the one bedroom / two bedroom for the twins because the original owners are twins. They were designed with the idea that they could have a single bedroom when they were smaller, and then eventually this could be divided to create really two separate spaces.
That's why there are also two doors here. The idea that this could be closed when they were ready to be a little bit more separate. We are now back on the ground floor, on the exterior, in the ground floor terrace, right off of the living room and the kitchen. And of course, the idea was, because every floor has a terrace, we wanted to connect all of them to be able to throw a party where you have people on every floor. There was also the fantasy of projecting movies on that wall, and therefore all the exterior spaces could become sort of a theater.
From here, you can take the stairs to go up. We should go.
This, again, is the terrace of the middle floor, so the extension of the indoor office. And then from this floor on, the trellis is actually occupied by the solar panels. It was very important for us to take advantage of these long diagonal surfaces perfectly exposed to the sun. Here we are at the level of the primary bedroom.
And up here is the most fun.
This is the smallest space, but it's more of a viewpoint because from up here you can really see all of Williamsburg, Greenpoint.
No, you can see downtown. I mean,
and you can see
the Freedom Tower. You can see downtown, the Wall Street area.
Yeah, this is a small space, but it's a perfect little perch to be here at sunset, maybe sit down and have a cocktail and relax at the end of the day. It's really a little jewel at the very top. This house is a very good example of a very comfortable and beautiful home created from this very common object. It's a continuous invention because we're always trying to push against it and push new boundaries and go to other places.
30 years of work is a lot of work. It's very exciting to look back and to think about everything that we have accomplished, especially because we really started from nothing. Every time we do something is a way to look at what else can we do with this object, right? It's a way to question how much more you can invent and explore, starting from this very, very simple box that we are obsessing with. And there is the desire to continue and try to do more and more and more, and things that we haven't done before, and explore other kind of projects.